Hello and welcome to today's Polkadot Markets video. In today's video, we'll take a look at the prices for some of the coins or tokens from the Polkadot ecosystem, as I normally do on Sunday, but today is Monday. And now because I was away on vacation, I just got back yesterday, so now I wasn't able to do the video yesterday, unfortunately, so I'm doing it today. I'll also be coming back with a news video either later on today or tomorrow, of course, from the Kusama ecosystem to catch up on the latest and see what's been going on. But first, let's kick things off with the prices in this market and see how things have been going in the last week. Well, as you can see, Astar is pulling back once again now, but even though it is pulling back, look at the bright side here. It is below the 200-day moving average, but we haven't dropped below this area here, which is acting as a support, which means that it may not be game over yet. It could have more juice here in this fuel tank, which could last us longer. Perhaps we could see another push to the upside, 4.5 cents or so, depending on Bitcoin at the end of the day. Of course, there were sellers, you know, it's normal, but I don't think it's over yet. It's just the way that it actually moves here. I just don't think it's game over for Astar. I think there is some juice in the tank, but of course there could potentially be a bigger dip as well. You never know. Perhaps the trend is changing. Perhaps this was the end. I mean, we had seen this for GLMR, we had seen this for NEER as well. So it could happen. I'm not saying it couldn't, but you got to remember there's a lot more volume here for Astar as well. So perhaps based on certain news, it could last longer, though the order book doesn't look great here. I mean, if you look at the order book at 4.140, there's already a huge sell order here of 142k, so someone wants to offload big here. Now this is probably what scared most people here, even the bots. I mean, if you have a visible order like this, it scares the bots too. And I mean scared in the sense that they get triggered. They don't physically get scared, obviously, because they're bots, but they do get triggered and they will be selling more. And so that could be a strategy for a person to buy lower, and you could imagine this to be used against the bots as well, right? I'm not saying it's going to go much lower, but it could. Of course, it all depends on what's happening on the other exchanges. If the price does very well there and it goes to like 4.2 4.3 cents, of course the arbitrage bots are going to be buying into this until it's all eaten up very, very quickly, because of the high volume here that we've got compared to other cryptocurrencies, of course. Now, so yeah, if we are to dump lower, I think 3.9 cents is a safe bet here in terms of support. If we are to go higher, though, I mean, the last time we went high was 4.7 cents. We encountered some resistance there on that dip, and so we pulled right back. We had another few attempts here to get close to that, but we didn't. So I would say on the bright side, if we are to go up, probably 4.5 to 4.7 cents, and if we drop lower, 3.9 cents. Let's move on and look at GLMR here. GLMR, 38.6 cents. It's also doing the same as Astar here. It's on the pullback. As you can see, it had a good momentum here, mostly because Bitcoin went up, but it didn't last. So now we're back to the dumping stage again. And don't forget, there was an unlock as well. In fact, it happened today at midnight, a huge unlock of over 20 million GLMR into circulation. So I'm not saying that definitely played a role, but perhaps it did. Maybe it's not the case, because look at Astar. I mean, that didn't have the unlock now. I don't know when the Astar unlocks happen, but it definitely wasn't exactly on the same day as GLMR. It would just be really crazy. I don't think that's the case. But yeah, 38.6 cents here. We are holding quite okay here at this very, very thin support area. We do have more support here as well, not very big here, but most of the support is around 36 cents here. So I would say if we are to go to 36 cents, we should hold pretty well until next Sunday at least, because of course every week things could change dramatically. But on the bright side, if we are to go up, we will encounter some resistance around 39.7, but I would say around 40 cents would be a great resistance area here, where we could potentially hold for another few days when it comes to GLMR. Let's move on to MOVR. MOVR is trading at exactly $8. It just loves this number. As you can see, it did have another few of those huge spikes that we have seen in the past, where it went to like under $8 and then it pumped to like almost $10, likely because of NFTs, and then of course sell-offs as well, as you can see here, wicks, which are then being manipulated basically. That's what you can see here by the bots, and then later on they tend to stabilize, and then the market just moves as it does with Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, looking at this, it's hard to say exactly, but it's not looking great. I mean, if we look at the moving average, the 200-day moving average, which is a very important indicator in technical analysis, I only use support, resistance, and this moving average, and you can see we are below it, which is not great. Of course, we could have another one of these wicks which could take us higher simply because someone is buying a lot of MOVR for the purpose of buying an NFT, perhaps Kusama or whatever, right? But it's not looking great. We are on the downtrend here, so we could potentially revisit that low of 725, which we were at quite a while ago on the 21st of November and even on the 19th as well, as you can see, before we started pushing back higher because of these buys here. And obviously somebody wanted to get a large bag of MOVR for the purpose of buying those NFTs, I think. It could be other reasons as well, but you never know. Now looking at AUSD, I mean, I don't even know why I'm still looking at this. It's a disaster, right? It dropped to like 16.5 cents. As you can see here, someone wanted to sell everything else they had. Maybe it was even KuCoin doing it, I'm not sure. But it's holding okay, it's around 24.2 now. So again, quite stable, but it's, you know, it's in quotes, right? I mean, we have been stable for a while now, ever since Betty Chan came out a while ago. And even before that, like, I mean, when she came out, I think it was like 60 cents, and then we just dumped because people just, you know, came to the conclusion that we're not going to see that repegging happen on KuCoin. And so this is the reason why we're in this situation right now. I just don't know if we can get out of it. I wouldn't be surprised if this delisting happens anytime now by the KuCoin team. You could expect it. Just be very wary if you are trading this. Just be very, very cautious. I wouldn't personally touch it with a 9-foot pole, to be honest, but that's just me. I know there are people that are taking these gambles thinking that maybe they can see a return in terms of the pegging, and if that was to happen, then of course that risk would really pay off, but then, you know, it's offset with the risk of losing it all, so it's not worth it in my opinion. So now looking at ACA, like I said, I really thought it was market makers or maybe a PND group, which had of course nothing to do with the team, but it could be market makers too, but I'm just not so sure because market makers tend to buy a lot, sell a lot, then buy again, you know, and we're not seeing that here. You know, these are just bots basically buying small amounts here, pumping it back up and then taking it back down. So yeah, I'm thinking this was a PND group in my opinion. Perhaps they also acted here and then they acted again here much more. So we'll have to see if we get another one of these. Maybe we will to 20 cents, who knows. But yeah, it looks like it wants to go back to that area of support. We are already at this area of support around 12 cents now. The next one is around 11.5 cents, and then we have more around 9.6 cents, which is this one over here. And then if we are to go back up, we will encounter some resistance around 13.6 cents, and then we'll encounter more resistance around 15.9 cents there. As you can see, everything else is much higher here. Even 15.8 I would say would be a lot of resistance here. As you can see, we did get to this area and we stabilized for quite some time. So I just don't see Acala getting back to 15.8 and holding stable around there, considering that's the resistance area, right? And if it does, it would be a surprise, but yeah, it could happen. Looking at Kusama here, $28.50 here, not too bad. It is still on the uptrend for now, but this 200-day moving average is looking like it wants to take a slight curve down here, so it's not looking great. We have dropped below it. But it's not out of the woods yet. We could be going up again, like I said, with Astar as well. There could be that potential with Kusama. It seems to be following that same trend line. But of course, there's the risk that this is all game over and we're going to see a dump back down to around 27. And then the next area would be around 25. So it could happen. In terms of going up, we will encounter resistance around 32 if we are to go up. As you can see, we've got some resistance here, more around here as well, around 33, more around 36. So yeah, there are resistance lines everywhere for Kusama, and you can clearly see that here where we went to 30 bucks. We dumped because we bounced right off that resistance, and then we pumped again. We broke past that previous resistance and we touched the next one. So there's like resistance lines like every $1 and $52 with Kusama right now. It's just a nightmare. Looking at DOT here, so DOT is doing pretty nasty as well, actually worse than Kusama by the looks of it here on the 1 hour chart. $5.13. It had this massive dump down here to just about $5 here. But the last pump here was to 571. Of course, it was much higher here. As you can see, it went to 733. But ever since then, we've just been going down and down and down. We had a few pops here and there, mostly because of Bitcoin. But yeah, it's basically moving with Bitcoin. And don't forget, the selling pressure as well is always higher. So when Bitcoin goes to 17K, then DOT doesn't go up that much, right? And then the validators and the stakers end up offloading. And then what happens is when Bitcoin dumps to like 16.5K, then DOT dumps even more. And this is mostly because there's more in circulation now. More has been generated. Don't forget the 10% annual inflation, which is divided in fractions across all the different blocks. So with every single block, there's new DOT being generated, just like with Kusama, just like with many other parachains. And so these validators are getting those commissions and they have to sell, right? They're surviving off this. Remember, they run multiple nodes, not just the DOT one. They run multiple ones. They need to make some profit as well. Of course, some will hold a certain percentage. I'm not saying every single validator has to sell, but this is the case for most of them, I think. So yeah, looking at Phala here, 14.13 cents here, which is not great. Because it did lose that great area of support, which I was really happy about. I loved that stabilization around 15 cents with a great APY, but this was expected. I did tell you in the last video that if we don't hold this area, we are going to dump back down. It could even we could even see 12 cents. We have to be realistic here, but nevertheless, even at 12 cents, if it does happen, the APY is still great, considering that we want to hold long term. At least this is my case, right? I want to hold long term, and I'm just selling the staking rewards. I'm actually waiting from selling those staking rewards now, because if you look here at the historical movements, we've had a lot of weeks here to like 16, 17 cents. So to me, there's no point for me to sell my staking rewards now at this price when we had, historically looking at this, we had so many weeks. So even though we are at this area here, which is acting as support now, this is the next area of support. Of course, we could go to 12 cents, but even if we go to 12 cents, considering that we had these weeks to almost 17 cents here, it doesn't mean we can't see 15 cents again, even if we go lower, right? So I'm betting that I'm gonna see 15.3 cents personally, and so I'm looking to exit with my staking rewards around 15.3, 15.4 cents, and I'm gonna wait until then. I'm not in a rush to sell. I don't need to get the money out right now, but of course, once I sell, I will be looking at opportunities into other cryptocurrencies. I am stacking up ETH and Atom for the rest of this year, and then from next year, I'll look into Bitcoin and likely other ecosystem coins as well. Let's look at NEER as well to see how that's been doing. Let's take a look. NEER, oh my gosh, what is this? This is exactly from today as well. It went to 20 cents today. This is the 24-hour low, and now it's pushing back up. So it was likely someone just wanted to get out with everything. I mean, think about it here. The issue with NEER here is that they've actually given away a lot of NEER, like up to 500K in that competition, you know, the NFT competition. And so with the teams, with the World Cup, and so that was a lot, you know, and you could expect a lot of selling pressure from there. I'm not saying that's definitely the case and that's the reason behind this dump now, but it does look like somebody wanted to sell a large bag of NEER for whatever reason. And this is the case, right? 20 cents now, as you can see. It could drop us lower. I'm not saying it won't, mostly because this huge selling pressure was applied here, and if there isn't enough buying demand, if there are no bullish news right now, and I don't know if there are bullish news, I have to check. I have to do that news video as well and catch up to the latest and see what's been going on, because I am out of sync. So that's why I wanted to do this price video today. And then look at the news after. So I can't say anything. I can't comment on the reason behind this yet. I'm assuming it's because of the NFT competition with the up to 500K given away. I don't know if they've given them away yet. 28 cents was a great area of resistance here, which again, not great, but great as in for the considering the price of Bitcoin. It was holding quite okay, but we've lost that now. We've lost it, and it looks like we are holding around this one here at 23, 24 cents. So we have to see if we can hold around this or if we'll go lower. If not, then yeah, we could potentially see 27, 28 cents again if there will be buying demand. So yeah, this is pretty much it from today's Polkadot Markets update. Thank you for watching. As always, don't forget to leave a comment below to help with the algorithm, and hit the like if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.